What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary here with my reaction to the New York Jets first round draft pick. It was an absolute stunner of a first round for the New York Jets. Let's talk through about how they got to the position where they were at pick number 15. So obviously most people were projecting an offensive tackle, maybe wide receiver, maybe an interior defensive lineman, but that's not the route the Jets went. So let's start with the offensive lineman because that is where things kind of went off the rails in a sense. So Paris Johnson goes 6 to Arizona after they move around a little bit. Darnell Wright surprisingly goes 10 to the Chicago Bears after they moved back. He was taking over Peter Skoronski and Broderick Jones. Skoronski goes at number 11 to the Tennessee Titans. They do not take Will Levis. They don't take any quarterback. They take an offensive tackle. Okay. And obviously pick 13. That's where the Jets were picking. Green Bay Packers instead take Lucas Van Ness, an edge rusher. Patriots on the board at 14. They trade out. Steelers trade up, and they snatch Broderick Jones out right from in front of the New York Jets. Now, that's the direction that I would have went. That most people, I think, and myself, Ryan, and Green Bean, when we reacted live, that's the guy that we wanted. We were hoping that Pittsburgh was not going to take him so that the Jets could take him. But that's not the play. Obviously, the Steelers take him, so he's off the board. All right, that stinks. But now at pick 15, you have a couple of options, really two options that I think stood out the most, which was Jackson Smith and Jigba and Kalijah Kancey. And you can make a case for both sides. Honestly, you can make a case for either one of those. Kalijah Kancey, you put him next to Quinnen Williams. The interior of that defensive line is definitely a weaker spot. It's something that the Jets are probably going to target at some point. You would think in the NFL draft, or just go, balls to the wall offense and try to score as much points as humanly possible and add another weapon for Aaron Rodgers. And the Jets go Will McDonald, edge rusher out of Iowa State, 6'4", 239. So one of the reasons why I didn't like Nolan Smith was because of his size. And Will McDonald is just as light as what Nolan Smith is. I think Will McDonald to me is more of a 3-4 outside linebacker size, like build-wise, so that's a little bit strange. And 15 felt early for him. It felt really early for him, as I thought he was a late first round, early second round kind of guy. Probably still a top 40 pick, but I don't think I had him in my mock draft in the first round. I had him as an early second guy. And for him to go at 15, just surprising. It felt, and I'm sure the Jets are going to spin it as this is what they wanted. They just want to load up on pass rush. You play in a division against, Josh Allen and Tua and all these quarterbacks in the AFC, and you want to get after the passer. I think that's how they're going to spin it. To me, it felt like a panic pick after Broderick Jones and the offensive tackles were off the board. I'm going to be honest with you, don't love it, but I hope that he proves me wrong and the Jets' usage of him proves me wrong, because, you look at how they used Jermaine Johnson last year as a rotational player. I think Will McDonald's going to be used as a rotational player this year, and using a top 15 pick on a rotational guy in year one is not something that I really love. He had 25 pressures last year, 5 sacks. He did have 13 back in 2021, but he is just pure speed, pure twitch off the edge. The most comparable NFL player is Randy Gregory to him, which is a speedy rotational edge guy. He has a nice spin move, Dwight Freeney level a spin move there, which is a plus. But like I said, I think this is more of a rotational player early on in his career. Similar build wise to a Nolan Smith, who I think projects more as a 3-4 outside linebacker. But again, if we want to go positive spin here at the end, Robert Saleh knows how to coach up the defensive line. We've seen Quinnen Williams take his game to another level, and he loves pass rush. He cannot get enough pass rush, and that was the mold in San Francisco for years and years and years. They just kept adding on pass rusher after pass rusher after pass rusher, and they had an absolutely dominant unit. They are a really, really deep edge unit, really deep. You think about it. You add Will McDonald to the mix. You have Carl Lawson, who they love. And, I've seen people say, well, you just cut him or move on from it, frees up the money. But the way that Robert Saleh has talked about him does not seem like that they're going to move on from him. John Franklin Myers, they refuse to play him inside. He plays a majority of his snaps on the outside at edge, so I don't think he kicks inside. I mean, maybe he does, but you drafted Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens last year. Oh, by the way, you also tendered Bryce Huff, who's a rotational edge rusher and has speed off the edge. So that's a really, really deep unit. To me, again, I think it feels like a little bit of a reach. The Jets obviously like pass rush. This was just not expected at all. I mean, and was he put on any mock draft for the Jets ever? Like, I don't remember him being mocked to the Jets once. I mean, I've seen other edges, Nolan Smith or Lucas Van Ness, mocked to the New York Jets, but this one was way out of left field. We were surprised when this one came on the board, but I want to hear your take. Let me know what you thought about the pick. Tomorrow we are back live again at draft starts at 7 o'clock, so we'll be on at 6. Tomorrow I will also have players to watch for on day 2 for the New York Jets as they have the 43rd pick. Do they move back? What do they do? But just overall wanted to get my take out there on the Will McDonald going in the first round. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. We had a ton of people who tuned in tonight. One, back at it again tomorrow, back at it again on Saturday. Thanks so much. I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.